Welcome back. Our Bitcoin continues to break through record levels each day, raising to $11,000 threshold. That was on Wednesday. Yesterday, the Vice President of the European Central Bank said he sees the virtual currency as an asset. That held in portfolio rather than a currency. Now, according to him, Bitcoin and other so-called cryptocurrencies do not pose risks presently, nor do they have an impact on monetary policy or financial stability. Although investors seem excited, regulators, including Nigeria's financial sector insurance regulator, NDIC, have warned of any risk related to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Let's talk more about this with the research analyst at Forex Time, Lukman Otunuga. Good afternoon, Mr. Lukman. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Now, first, let's understand what investment in Bitcoin is actually all about.
So taking a look at Bitcoin, we have to keep in mind that Bitcoin is a digital currency that only exists on computer, on the internet. Actually, technically looking at things, it's not really a currency. It's more of an invention based on blockchain technology, you know.
Kind of a virtual investment kind of thing.
Exactly.
Now, how would you now compare this Bitcoin to investment in stock market? We talk about bonds and even gold. Why must I invest in Bitcoin?
So when we look at Bitcoin and we look at other major assets, there's one key difference. Bitcoin does not have an intrinsic value, and it's very difficult to actually understand the fundamental drivers. For example, if you look at stocks, you know, stocks have hit repeated levels this year based on optimism over the global economy. And gold is based on the dollar strength, risk aversion, and expectations of higher US interest rates. On the other hand, Bitcoin is another story entirely. The more I look at Bitcoin, I believe that the main driver is probably investor sentiment.
Oh, sure. Now, talking about this investor sentiment, now a lot of people will say, oh, this is a bubble that is, you know, getting set to burst. Do you see that?
It's quite interesting, you know, there's talks around that Bitcoin being a bubble, but there's 5 stages to a bubble, and right now I believe Bitcoin is probably in a 3rd stage, you know, at the stage where people are very excited, we're in a boom. You know, taking a closer look, with reports of the CME Group potentially actually, you know, moving forward to adopting Bitcoin futures in December, this is probably like to feel the upside. So it being a bubble, I don't know when it's going to burst, but short term, there seems to be positive sentiment towards the cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because just yesterday, the ECB vice president is actually saying that there is no threat, no risk to it, at least currently. Do you agree with that?
Well, there's one side and there's another side. Probably because if you look at Bitcoin's market capitalization, it's just over 170 billion. And if you look at the whole market capitalization of the cryptocurrencies, it just goes over 300 billion. So right now, it's probably too small to create any big rifts in the markets. I believe a situation where Bitcoin, you know, poses a threat, you know, to the government in taking taxes could actually fuel regulators to start cracking down on it.
Now, aside from the present risk that a lot of people talk about, as a currency trader, what other risks do you see, you know, in this, particularly for countries such as Nigeria?
Well, let's look at the price action of Bitcoin. It's hard to believe that at the start of the year, Bitcoin was under 1,000, and now it hit an all-time high. Yesterday, here around 11,434. So this is a gain of over 1,000%. So this is quite big. So for traders in Nigeria, naturally, everybody wants to have a piece of the pie. Well, you know, there's potential for upside. I believe the best thing is for people to do their homework and understand Bitcoin properly before jumping in. For example, the CBN have already said that Bitcoin is not licensed, and even the Nigerian insurance industry has already said that they wouldn't insure for people who jump into Bitcoin. So my advice is to do your homework before jumping in. Taking a look at things in a technical picture though, everybody's talking about how 10,000 is an important level on Bitcoin. I believe if the cryptocurrency can keep above this level in 2017, further upside could be on the cards.
Right, I guess it's cautious. Being cautious is the answer.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much, Lukman Otunuga, research analyst at Forex Time. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And we're moving now. The African Development Bank has approved a $160 million loan to Kenya for building a second runway. The Jomo Kenyatta International Airport has a single runway and plans for a second one, where first announced in 2013 to boost Kenya's standing as a regional travel hub. Kenya Airways, the national carrier, carries about 4 million passengers a year. The airport is also used by other global and regional carriers, including Emirates, Qatar, and British Airways. Meanwhile, Kenya government has signed a $620 million agreement to build a 530-kilometer highway from its east coast to the center of the country, part of a campaign to boost its role as a regional trade hub. A consortium, including a unit of South Africa's Group 5 and the Development Bank of Southern Africa, will work with the state. The consortium will design, build, finance, maintain, operate, and transfer the highway. Work is due to start in mid-2018 and be completed within 4 years. Kenya wants to build up a role as a regional trade and transport hub, serving as a link to landlocked countries such as Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda. It is seeking more private investment to maintain the pace of spending on highways, railways, and other vital assets while reducing its budget deficits. I will move on now to Egypt. That country is trying in its trying economic times. 1 month's trade in crash-damaged cars has boomed. Egyptians across the country are saving money and buying damaged second-hand vehicles at less than half the price of brand-new models. Our central bank abandoned a peg of 8.8 Egyptian pounds to the US dollars in November 2016, hoping to pull foreign currency back into the official banking system.
Battling a weakened currency and soaring custom tax rates, Egyptians are staring towards purchasing second-hand damaged cars instead of brand-new models. Mohammed Shaheen, who has traded in damaged cars for over 2 decades, says that many Egyptians are skipping using dealerships and coming to his workshop, attracted by cheaper prices.
I buy cars that have been in road accidents and sell them just as they are. I go to dealerships, check what cars they have. They may have 10 or 20, so I buy them. Then people come from villages and from Cairo, and I sell them the car as it is.
Egypt's inflation soared after the government cut fuel and energy subsidies. The cuts were a condition of a $12 billion 3-year loan program agreed with the IMF, which included subsidy cuts, tax increases, and looser capital controls.
And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.
£300,000 Egyptian pounds, and not everyone can afford to buy that.